Hi, Nutritarian in La La Land. I got cut off because my battery died. I thought it was full. When I turned it on, it looked like it was full, but it wasn't. So this part is the part where we're going to brown the patties. We're going to brown them 2 to 3 minutes each side, and make sure they're nice and thin, because if they're thick, they you know, it's better that they're thin. It's like a Salisbury steak. Oh, duh, I'm making Salisbury steak. I meant to say, like, a chicken fried steak. You know that meat? What is it called? I don't know what that meat's called. It's called flank steak. I think that's it. It's really thin like that. Then you're good. I think I can fit them all in here. This is cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to brown them on both sides. Oopsie, don't touch the hotness, you Clutzy Mary. No. So you're going to brown them on both sides, and then you're going to set them to the side, and then we're going to make the gravy ingredients. Okay? That's what we're going to do. And it says to use olive oil. I don't use olive oil, and I usually don't use spray, but I found a spray with coconut oil in it, and it's the best I can do. But usually a Nutritarian doesn't use that stuff, and I break those rules a lot, but not to where it's going to hinder my diet. Sometimes you got to do with what you have, and I don't have a lot of money to do things, you know, perfect. So you got to improvise. They are staying together pretty good, which is something you want. Better than a, you know, like a bean burger. Sometimes bean burgers fall apart, you know. And you don't want that. This middle one is really big. Yeah, they're going to be different sizes because, again, not Martha Stewart. I'm not perfect. I am a person in my kitchen just like you. Yeah, I want to brown them a little bit more. Hopefully, I charged my battery not to full, but enough to where it's going to last for my video. Because I got other things I have to cook for the family. I don't want to spend it all on myself. They're really light, but they'll be darker when you get the gravy on them, and oh my god, it looks so good. So we're gonna, oh, I lost my recipe, dirtbag. Pinterest, is it gonna still have it? I might have to look up the recipe again. Oh, you dirty bird. Sorry guys. I like to have a reference, you know, for what I'm doing, so I don't make mistakes. I don't want to make any mistakes. Which, I mean, I make mistakes where I drop things or, you know, stuff like that. But that's not the kind of mistake you want to make in a recipe. You don't want to miss an ingredient or cook it wrong or whatever, you know. You want to make sure you do that part right. Okay, we're back to. Okay, for the mushroom gravy, you're gonna have to have an 8-ounce pack of sliced mushrooms. And some garlic. I got the minced garlic. Sometimes I have the whole garlic and I do it myself. And sometimes I get, you know, to where I want to have an abundance of it cut up and already ready. It's a lot easier that way. And some vegan butter. Again, another thing I don't use usually, but I'm doing it because that's what the recipe says, and I like to do it the way it says first. And then I can modify it later if I want to. And it says all-purpose flour. I'm going to use cornstarch because cornstarch is really good in gravies. I'm okay with that. You can either use flour or cornstarch, but I'm not good with the white flour. And 2 cups of broth. I'll tell you the exact measurements as I'm going, but I'm just telling you what we're going to be doing. Vegetable broth, sage, thyme, and I don't use salt, but I'm going to use pepper. If you want to use salt, it's up to you, but I don't. And there's no measurement for the salt. It's kind of like, you know, a pinch of salt kind of thing. So that's what you're going to do. I'm going to flip them again, or check them at least. Yeah, I think I need to turn the heat up. No, it's at 350. Should be high enough. That's weird. Is it unplugged? Nope. This is almost like putting a pan on a burner that the pan's too bigger than the burner and only the food is cooking on one side of the pan. Have you ever had that? That's so funny. It's happened to me many times. Oh, my nose itches. I'm sorry, I touched my nose while I'm cooking. You're not eating my food. Like I said, I'm going to be myself. That one's good. Nice and brown. Yeah, you want to cook them good. Thorough. But not that it's going to be like raw meat, so you don't... But you don't want chewy. It'll probably be like chewy, like if you're eating a raw cookie. Most likely. You don't want that consistency. So we have a tradition in my family. We eat Thanksgiving, we have cocktails, and we play board games, or we play games, or card games in the rest of the night, and we have so much fun. Every single year we do it that way. This year I got a vegan wine, and it is a Sutter Home Chardonnay, and I blended a mango, a whole mango, pineapples, and raspberries, blended the whole fruit, and I'm going to mix that with the wine and have like make cocktails out of it, because I want it to be as healthy as possible. And I do drink wine only on, special occasions, but if I do, I'm going to do it the right way. Yeah, I don't want to burn these, but I don't want to undercook them either. It's been, I think, long enough for all the sides to be cooked. Then we're going to put them together with the gravy anyway, and cook it in the gravy, and cover it, I think. That's how I did my other Salisbury steak recipe. So I'm going to put them on the side. See how they're browned on top? Yeah. You brown them, and then you put them to the side, and now we're going to make the gravy. What am I on my time? Does it say?
You have it.
Okay, that's good. I got enough time to make the gravy. Okay. Here we go. Put those to the side. Well, you got extra stuff in it, but that's okay. It's all going to go together. I'm going to spray a little bit more just so nothing sticks. Let's see. Let me make sure. Here we go. Past that part. Sorry, guys. Remove the steaks. Okay. The pan set aside. Now make the gravy. Heat the oil in the pan. Okay, we're going to take the mushrooms and the garlic and saute. 8-ounce package of sliced mushrooms. Or if you get mushrooms not in the package, slice them up and measure it to 8 ounces. 8 ounces. And 3 cloves of garlic, which is 1.5 teaspoons if you have one of these containers like I do. I have more, so if I run out. Teaspoon? Oh, I love the smell. And 1/2 of garlic. Where's my wooden spoon? Oh. I always lose stuff when I'm doing this. So you want to, like you want to brown it. It's mostly when you're sauteing mushrooms, you're reducing them. Sometimes when I'm impatient, I'll throw a little splash of water in it and put a lid on it, and it cooks it quicker. I might want to do that a little right now, but I don't want things to be too wet. Well, I'm going to put broth in it anyway, so. Yeah. Smells good. Oh, yeah. You know, as much as I sprayed the pan, the little pieces of garlic are sticking, and it's really irritating me. Come on, people. A little, that's better. Use the mushrooms to lop it up and spread it in the pan. It'll all come loose when you put the broth in there. It's starting to look really good. Let me get this. Just want to make sure. Oh wait. Use the oil thing here. Oh, I'm gonna put a little pepper in it too. Oops, wrong one. I almost poured a bunch of it down there. There we go. That's good. Let me stir that together. I don't use salt. You really don't. In some recipes, the flavor of the food, if the food is fresh, makes the recipe taste really good, and you don't need salt. I'm sorry. Once you detox from salt and processed foods, you really don't. You don't need it. The tastes are so wonderful. Your taste buds open up when you get rid of all that in your diet. Oh shoot, I need another. I need something to put the mushrooms in real fast. Because we have to remove them. And I don't have proper. I hope I'm reading the right thing, because sometimes I jump around and read the wrong thing. And I think we're going to do the butter, and we're going to make an au jus. No, what is not au jus? I said the wrong word. We're going to make a, when you make the butter and the flour paste, I forgot what that's called, au jus. I'm saying the wrong word. Okay, there's the mushrooms. We're going to do the baking soda. My God. 6 minutes. Cornstarch and the butter to make a roux. There we go. That's the word. It does rhyme with au jus. No. I'll do this again. Okay. Here we go. Remove the mushrooms. Add the vegan butter and flour. Okay. How much was the vegan butter? I gotta go back to the ingredients. 3 tablespoons. Okay. 3 tablespoons of vegan butter. 2. Sorry about my finger. Oops, too much. 3. And then 3 tablespoons of flour. Well, I'm not going to use that tablespoon. I've got a really weird crooked one. That ain't going to work. This one ain't going to work either. You know what? I'm going to get another one of these. This will do. 3 tablespoons, and I'm using cornstarch because that's really good at with making gravy. Besides flour. I know a lot of people like flour. How many? God darn it. I go back and forth and then I forget. 3 tablespoons. 2. Oopsie. Come on. 3. Okay. You're going to get it together. Darn it. I need another stir. It's going to all be incorporated anyway. You make a little paste with the cornstarch and the butter. Ooh, that's looking good. Okay, then we're probably going to add the broth. Let's see, go back to here. Oh no, the dogs. Make a roux, add the veggie broth. Okay. How much veggie broth? 2 cups. Okay. 2 cups of veggie broth. Look at my poop. The other one is not nearby. This is 1 cup, so I'll do 2 of these. I need a whisk, probably. Ah, poop. Yeah, I need a whisk. I will get one. It's 1 cup. And then there's the other cup. I'm gonna get a whisk. I hate when I don't have all my stuff. Darn it, what is this? Here we go. Yeah, you don't want lumps. You're gonna probably add the seasoning too. Get the lumps out of there. Probably gonna take a minute to heat up anyhow. Yeah, the lumps are coming out really good, see? When I use flour, the lumps do not come out. I'm glad I used cornstarch. Cornstarch? Okay, I think we're gonna use 2 minutes. Okay guys, we're almost there. Add the broth and whisk combine, simmer until it's thickened 2 to 4 minutes, and add the mushrooms back in the pan. Okay, that's good. That's easy. What you're gonna do, you cook this for a couple of minutes in the pan. Probably it's gonna bring it to a boil, and then you're gonna add the mushrooms back in, and then we're gonna put in the spices, which is just sage and thyme, and you have some pepper too. Yeah, you want to bring it to a boil. Let it thicken a little. Now that we've already whisked it, I think this would be good for to thicken it. Oh, it's looking good, guys. I like. It smells good too. Oh yeah. It's getting there. And then you're gonna, after you add the mushrooms and the seasoning, you're gonna put the patties back in there. Oh yeah, it's ready. Here we go. You're gonna put the patties in there, and I'd say reduce the heat and let it simmer for, I'm not sure. I would say like 20 minutes, but that might be too long. Steaks back in the pan, cook the gravy for 4 minutes. Yeah, I think it's basically what you want it to be. Let's put this seasoning: a ½ teaspoon of sage and a ½ teaspoon of thyme. Where's my ½ teaspoon? Oh, it's right here. And then you're gonna, oh my lord, this one's smashed. I don't know, I might have a ½ teaspoon. Yeah, I do. This is thyme, ½ teaspoon of thyme and a ½ teaspoon of sage. Oh my lord. Add the patties back in.